Well, good morning to the Friday webinar. It is the 16th of August. You should be looking at the Forex Factory calendar. Just give me a yes if you would. Just let me know that you can hear me nice and clear and you can see the Forex Factory calendar. Good morning, Vinco. Good morning. Just let you know, guys, I don't have a great deal on the radar at all. I am in one trade, which I sent the signal out for. We'll run over that. So the Forex Factory calendar, not much has changed since last night's webinar, but there is no news out today, so I will just move that off to the side and we will run through some currency pairs. Does anybody have anything that they're currently looking at? Any opportunities they're currently looking at? If not, I will run straight into the Aussie dollar CAD, which is a trade idea we spoke about yesterday. ABCD pattern coming into structure, and we had a valid double top here, and like we've seen a lot of recently, we had a break below, close below, and then we actually violated structure to the top and it produced another double top, which was also valid with divergence. This is where I drew out the stop last time, so if you're in this trade you should still be in it and you should still be holding for targets. You should be in profit now of around, I don't know, 15 pips or so. That opportunity hasn't yet completed. Don't forget, you will need to adjust your fibs because this is a fibs based pattern, so fibs go from the swing low to the swing high, and so your target will be a little bit reduced now as a result of that. Nothing else though has changed, guys. I've got no bias on the Aussie dollar CAD. Overall still looking short, but generally speaking we're in consolidation in this currency pair now. We retested down here, but it did not appear at structure, and we're making our way higher up into this zone. So price could go either way here. We could see a move higher up into this outside return, or we could just see this level hold and see a violation to the downside. I just have no bias on it. I think I'm still making friends with Ninja Trader 8. I will have to upgrade at some point. Look at that. Do we have a valid double top here on the 240 for a shorting opportunity? No, you do not. There is no valid double top. It violated structure. So the second test just here closed above the first test, invalidating a potential double top, and there's no RSI confirmation anyway. So it's going to be a pretty quick webinar, guys, unless you've got anything specific you want me to look at. Really not a great deal has changed since the other day. I'm going to move that out of the way. We'll take a quick look at the Aussie dollar as well. This was a potential channel that was setting up, and there was a double top just here, and the double top was violated, and then we saw a break to the downside. So this would no longer be valid for me. I would actually manually exit this trade, and we're just seeing a lot of structure violations still. Double top came back for 26.18 and we failed to go lower. In actual fact, we have put in another double top there, but we're outside of the channel now, guys. That's the problem. We're outside of the channel. Unless your bias is still short and you're holding the trade for 26.18, for me personally, there's nothing on that now. So I'm going to move that one out of the way as well. Just to let everybody know, I am short. Good morning, Khan. I am short the Euro Aussie, and I will run through this in just a moment. Euro Aussie was the big head and shoulders, and there was a double bottom down here, but I said I'd be very cautious as to how high this can go. As a minimum, I would only look to the wicks here, and we can see that we violated to the downside now. So I'm going to run through the flag pattern that I'm actually in. So structure level on just at the closes of the candles here, and if we look left, we did actually hold this structure level. It was actually down there. We did actually hold that structure level, and you can see we're starting to move lower. We could see quite a big move here. Now I'm only in a lower time frame flag pattern, but to read the trend, a new high, a pullback, a new high. Down here we violated this level, which was the outside return. We saw a pullback. Where did we see the pullback to? The left shoulder. We had a double top here and on the lower time frame. We broke to the downside, pulled back for 26.18, and now we're coming lower. And in actual fact, you can see a small retracement here and again another move lower. So as we drop down the time frames, we're in trend, we're moving fairly directionally. I want to be looking for short opportunities. And if I just go ahead here and highlight the wicks is where we usually see double tops and double bottoms turn around. We also see head and shoulders turn around, and we do see the majority of times breakout patterns turn within the wicks. So I've now highlighted what would be the first chance entry because we're in trend. And as I drop down to the 15, I can start looking for some form of entry. So we've got swing in the market, this directional move, and right here, this morning, the way this was looking was like this. So we'd come into the wicks, which was the first chance entry. Need a minimum, need to be confirmed coiling first of all, and the low here did not test the close of the candles, so that was an indication we were coiling and could be a valid breakout pattern. 4 touches is what we need. 1, 2, 3, there is 4. I also need a minimum of a 382 fib, and you can see on that 4th touch we did not get it. That means the 4th touch was here when we hit the 382, and that validated the pattern for us, and you can see from that point we broke out. This is a good flag pattern to use as an illustration. This is why we have the 382 fib rule. As you can see, when it was tested, that was the turning point. So target's very simple, 127. I don't hold, very rarely hold for an extension on these breakout patterns, even though my overall bias is still short. So we short this. There's about, I think there's about 30 pips that I'm in for if we can get this this to hit. Any questions on the Euro Aussie though, guys? Bigger picture still looking short. If we do have this hit and we do see a pullback into the middle of this breakout pattern, I do say that if there is room to go lower, the middle of these is where you want to look for shorting opportunities. I will look again for another short this afternoon if we pull back to that point. That is the Euro Aussie, guys. So I think this is going to be quite a quick webinar if you just joined us. It's Friday. I really don't have a great deal on the radar. The Euro Yen. Just let me see if I can get rid of this gap. I think this is just one candle, so I'm just going to reload the historical data. Khan, are you looking at any trades today? I will let you know as well. Well done to Martin. Yesterday I was in a euro dollar breakout pattern. It was a triangle. Of course it stopped me out by 2 pips. You guys know the story. That makes 10 trades in a row, a total of 700 pips in the last 4 weeks. That has done that to me. That is where my drawdown has come from. However, Martin either waited or got a better entry, and that we'll come across the euro dollar shortly, but after just stopping me out, it produced a bigger triangle, and that's well on its way to hitting targets. So well done to him. Khan says he's in the pound yen long side last 4 hours, but playing bad games. That the pound is just up and down. I was short the pound Aussie, and then there was also a head and shoulders. We violated structure, so I managed to get out for break even. I do think from the look of it now we could see some continuation on the pound, but in terms of structure, I have structure not telling me that we're going to go long, and I'm a structure based trader, so we will wait and see again what happens with the pound. So that gap has now been filled with that very large candle from the news the other day as a result of, not too sure if that one was Trump. But here on the euro yen, guys, my bias is going to be short. We are actually holding this lower level of structure just here, if you see this. but at the same time we've held the upper level, so I think we could see a breakout here in terms of a low and tight flag. So 4 touches either side. Look at yesterday's daily candle. Great big wick to the upside. We closed in the lower 25% of the body, an indication that there's more selling pressure than buying pressure. Now if I put a structure level on at the close of that candle just there and look left, we are actually holding this internal level of structure, but I do think we can get a breakout down to this lower level. So if I think that this is a low and tight flag, well then I can draw out targets straight away, looking for a 127, and there is still around 117 pips. And just remember guys, if we don't get our optimum entry, it doesn't matter, because on these breakout patterns typically we break out with force, and that means on the lower time frame it'll probably offer us some trend continuation opportunity. So I'm going to be watching this like a hawk. Hope we get the breakout today in some form of entry. If not, it'll be Monday. Let's go to the 240. 240 is ugly. Here on the 240 the trend reads move lower, pull back, move lower. Well, this is now technically the entire outside return, and this is where the market decided to turn up here, and as you can see we've then had a move lower, a pullback, and there might be something here guys if you're aggressive. See this sideways movement? Sideways movement is a sign of either a continuation or a reversal, and it does offer opportunities. So what is it going to be? Well, we have come into the wicks just down here, so it could be a double bottom. However, overall our bias is still short. That's, yep, just catching up with Calm, pound Aussie. Okay, I'll come back to that in a moment, Calm. So you've got what looks to be a retest here, but there's no RSI confirmation, and overall our bias is short. So if you're a little aggressive, you could say that this could be a low and tight flag, and you can use this as the breakout. It is a shame it's occurred at structure, but if you're looking at the market breaking out, you can use this as an entry, or you can quite simply just use it to play for your targets. So I'm going to take a look at the 15, see how it looks. Yeah, 1, 2. In actual fact, here on the 15 it's not valid. That would be 3. You'd have to wait for the 4th touch up here. It is valid, however, on the, is it valid on the 60? 1, 2, 3. No, it's not. So guys, you're going to be waiting for the 4th touch up here if you're playing for the breakout and this breakout pattern. Now this could be one of those instances where that's your risk, this is your reward, and you hold for second targets. This could be one of those opportunities where you hold for that big breakout down to this level. Because bigger picture, if this is a big breakout pattern here as well, that would give you an opportunity yeah, to play down to this level. Well, that level doesn't actually come down to this structure level, so depending how aggressive or cautious you want to be, this may be an opportunity that I'm interested in, playing for 2 targets using 2 breakout patterns. So if we come up for the 4th touch, we'll have initially 50 pips, and secondary targets we could have 119, or you could just hold for the complete breakout, depending what you want to do. So yeah, Euro Yen guys is going to be an opportunity for me. I'm going to just make a note of that now so that I can look at it on my proper charts and just catch up with what Khan was saying. I'm in pound yen long for the last 4 hours. Okay, don't short pound Aussie yet. It's near one of the resistance. See how it works. I'm waiting for it too. 17900 resistance as well as a round number, and didn't violate the previous peak. Well, there you go. So euro yen, guys, is there any questions on that? Haven't done a full review this morning. I had a quick scan around. Let's go and take a look at, okay, euro dollar, guys. Go over the trade that stopped me out by 2 pips and is well on its way to targets. So yesterday, this is what I had drawn out. As you can see, we clearly had 4 touches. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, put in a 3-bar reversal, stop goes an ATR above the high plus 2 pips because it's on the lower time frame. My stop was here, right there, guys. Stopped out and is now violated structure to the downside. You could was it on the 60? I think it may be on the 60. Yeah, on the 60 it turned into another breakout pattern just here. Bit difficult to draw out this one, but there you go, guys. 1, 2 is there, 3 and 4. Now I didn't get involved with this because this was 4 in the morning. This was well, you could have maybe got involved at 8 this morning, but as you can see now, the trade is well on its way to target. So I took a 19 pip loss when it should have been a 29 pip winner. So that makes a difference to my account balance of what would have been 50 pips. And as mentioned, that's a total in the past 4 weeks of 700 pips of trades that has done that to me. So this is very testing for me, guys. Very testing for me indeed. I am now in new territory where I've never had this happen to me so many times. And it's dramatically affected my account balance. And my drawdown, I'm about 9% down, maybe something like that. When I should be up about 12%. Should be, could be, would be, whatever it may be, but I'm not. Not bad trades, guys, all good trades. Just, you know, this turned into an hourly breakout pattern, whereas I've just proved that it was also a 15-minute one. Let's take a look at the pound Aussie, guys. Let me know if you've got anything on this. I obviously know Khan's views. I manually exited this trade, guys, just to let you know, and the reason for that was because we started putting in higher lows, higher low, higher low, and not only that, if we go to the 15, I spoke about this potential head and shoulders which came off. We had trend, so we had the confirmed break below, close below. We saw a pullback. Did we have a double top just here? I don't think we did. But what we then did is we broke to the downside. And what we did, look at this double bottom just down here. We failed to violate that level, guys. So this is a clear sign that this trend line was holding because we had a rotation pattern. We came down here, we held and we went bullish. Not only that, I exited once the outside return had been violated, which was this level. And we violated, and it just so happens that that was my break-even point. So I manually exited the trade. I have also had a very large number of manual exits, which is very unusual for me. Usually I just allow the trade to play out, but this one we had trendline structure which was being adhered to. We had the head and shoulders which violated structure, and you know, my bias on this is that it was 50-50 as to which way we could break out because of this consolidation area, because of this channel, guys, and that's all this is a channel. Okay, but within a channel, what happens is we ping from one side to another, from one side to another. And what concerned me is that we are now doing this as well, and we're failing to go down for this lower level. So we could actually here, guys, break out to the upside. But all this is, to me, is just a channel and sideways movement. Now, what I will be interested in is if we come up to the wicks just here, is another rotation pattern. If we get a rotation pattern up here, my target is only going to be this point. I got about 80 pips up on this trade and I'm out for break even. Carnes is looking for exactly this. And you know, these are unusual times, a channel, but then we're forming another channel within the channel. And we want to be cautious now because we failed to make the move lower, and I would only be looking at this zone. So I'm just going to drop straight down to the 15. There's absolutely nothing here at the moment, guys. But I do say within these channels we get rotation patterns. Triple bottom was a rotation pattern. Double bottom was a rotation pattern. Triple top was a rotation pattern, and a head and shoulders. So lots of, oh, and down here as well, a double bottom. So within channels, this just goes to prove what I say time and time again. If, and you can get entries on these channels when things point in the right direction. When you start seeing these rotation patterns, it's a sign we're going to be in a channel. Usually you're looking for your entries at the bottoms and at the tops of these channels, and you just ping from one side to the other. And if this happened in this instance, you had multiple opportunities to get involved, but that didn't. We're seeing a rising channel now, guys. Let's just drop to the 5 range because it looks as though there's room for this to go higher. We're clearly bullish here and violating structure. If you're reading structure in the 5 range, then move higher, pull back, move higher, pull back, move higher. Failed to violate this level just yet, so you've got to retest here. So what I'd be waiting for is, I'd be waiting for a move higher and a pullback. This would give you a triple area, or at least a double area just here, to look at getting long with stops underneath this level just here. How high we can actually go? Well, you could just simply hold that and see if we do get the full breakout. It's entirely up to you. Yes, they're very similar, Khan, to Renko. The 5 range, all the 5 range is that each candle moves every 5 pips, whereas if you look at the 5 minute, it moves every 5 minutes. So the 5 range is not time based, it's based on pip movement. So what you can have like this, you've got something like, I don't know, a 40 pip move, and this happened at between 3:26 in the morning and 4:08. So about 40 minutes, something like that, we saw movement. But what can happen is when we see very quick movement, you can see 40 pips move within seconds. So the 5 range, you do need to be active by your computer. I love 5 range trading. I've barely had a 5 range trade in the past month. Even though we've seen lots and lots of directional movement, there's just been nothing there for me. But yeah, potential if you're a 5 range trader here on the pound Aussie. Just move that one out of the way. Pound yen, guys. Pound yen, we spoke about this last night, where the flag pattern hit my potential targets, and I would not have been playing for any type of extension because structure was not saying that we can go higher. In fact, if you look here, move lower, pull back, move lower. This was a breakout pattern, we had a move lower, we pull back to the middle of the breakout pattern where we typically see a continuation. But what's happening here, we're still seeing price move higher. So this is moving not because of structure is indicating we can move lower. This is moving based on news, still seeing bullish moves as a result of sentiment, in my opinion. Take a bigger look at the pound yen. Structure level on here, I can tell you looking left there is no structure, so this is an indication we're still moving lower. However, price is currently moving higher. reading the trend, move lower, pullback, move lower. There was the breakout pattern, a clear move lower, and now a pullback. And what you've actually got here is you're seeing the market doing this. This is not going to be a valid pattern for me because we're in a bearish trend, and the majority of the times only take these breakout patterns when we're with the trend. Like this one, we're bearish, we're with the trend, we broke out. This one could see a rotation the other way, but in a bearish trend. So I just don't trade these. Can't say Renko charts will be better to avoid noise. Well, there you go. It isn't something I trade, Khan. I only trade the 5 range. I'm a very good 5 range trader. Just not a great deal for me. What you can do is, if your bias is still long, you can see that we may be getting the breakout here. You could drop down to the 5 range and do exactly the same as to what we're doing on the pound Aussie. Move higher, pull back, move higher, pull back, move higher, pull back, move higher, pull back, move higher. Okay, there was not an opportunity here to get involved, but if you can get a pullback to the structure level, simple pullback trade and a chance to get long. If you believe we're going to break out and hit that 127, just be a little bit cautious. We are at this 129 psychological number. If we go to the 60, you could see a retracement here. So this is not going to be head and shoulders for me. It did not come into structure. The left shoulder just here, we violated to the downside. So I got nothing on the pound yen, guys. If you want to be aggressive, I would just go to the 5 range, or as Khan says, the Renko charts. Let's move that out of the way. Just for your info, guys, you're seeing a pullback now. You've had the breakout. This is your entire outside return. You can choose to just treat this as a simple pullback trade. So you will be looking for a second chance entry, so a higher high, higher close. You'll be looking for a last chance entry, which will be a double bottom down in this level. Pound once again is on the move. Every day I'm saying that, guys. Pound is on the move, and it's always on the move, and a different way to what structure is telling me. So pound dollar, guys. We spoke about last night, a potential flag pattern just here, and here we go. Look at this again. Confirmed double bottom. Sorry, it was not confirmed, but we had a retest, a double bottom. It actually came down for a triple test down here for the flag pattern. It violated structure. You had a little double bottom down here, and boom, we have gone higher. So where did this double bottom form? Was this something you could have got involved with? And it formed in the middle of nowhere, guys. In terms of structure-based trading, we are not seeing any type of structure being held, even though there was a little triple test here, and that was the turning point. And today, since midnight, we have seen a 65 pip rally, and it is only 10 in the morning. So still seeing big moves on the pound. From the dailies, overall still looking short, move lower, pull back, move lower. Still looking for shorting opportunities here. On the 240, it is a slightly different story. Move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back, move lower. On the 240, this is your outside return here. Is there any way to get involved with the market? Short. Okay, so there's not going to be a Bats, Cypher or Gartley. This X leg is no good for me. Look at all the noise that we have here. Did you have an AB equals CD pattern? I think we spoke about this a week ago or so. Yes, and you saw the retracement only into probably a 382 fib. That came into a 50%, and you can see sorry guys, 1 second. Oh dear, too much talking and too quick. You can see big bullish moves first thing this morning. Price is obviously moving higher here, guys. Let's go to the 60. Okay, reading the trend on the 60 from this lower level. Move high, higher, pull back. Move higher, pull back. We have not as yet violated this level. There's just nothing setting up for me here, guys. You could highlight the wicks. The RSI has just tapped the overbought section here, drop down one time frame. See if you have a small rotation pattern. RSI has gone overbought here as well on the 15, but there's no double top here, there's no head and shoulders. Just go and take a look at the 5 range. 5 range overbought there as well. You could see a small retracement here. Nothing setting up for me. If you wanted to, you could just look for a small double top up here, small retest. In terms of targets though, I would just be very cautious. I have no direction on the pound dollar. Could go either way. Overall we're bearish, but the way price is moving, we're moving very bullishly here, and this would just be a very small day trade if you're looking for a double top up there, guys. Okay. Any questions on the pound dollar? Bunch of nothing for me really. Let's just have a look what some of the other currency pairs doing. Pound New Zealand, it's another pound pair again, that's the problem. But you do still have this flag pattern which is valid on the 240, guys. Now it is not valid on the 60. We violated structure, and here what we've done is we've violated to the upside, we've pulled back and we're moving higher. So this is one of the flag patterns that's occurred in a, well, we're not in trend, but we do have an initial structure high because this was the outside return, we broke above it. So you would be selling the market when the trend is indicating that we're going to go higher. Also, I do need these flags to come into structure, and if we look left at structure, well, the only area we know that they usually turn within the wicks is this point just here, which just so happens actually to come into the 18900 psychological number. If you wanted to, you could look for a rotation pattern in this zone and see if you can get a move down to this level. What does concern me is this right here. We actually failed to come down to retest the channel down here. So when we failed to retest the channel, it means there was more buying pressure than selling pressure. We wasn't able to test structure, indicating that we could still move higher here, guys. So valid flag pattern. In fact, guys, sorry, I'm thinking of a different, I'm thinking of the pound CAD. This might be valid on the 60 as well. But again, we failed to come down to retest. This is the wicks just here. You could drop down the time frames and look for a valid double top or rotation pattern. Here on the 15, you're not going to have anything valid. This was the high of the wick, and you can see you have now had a break above, close above, so there's not going to be an opportunity on the 15, guys. Only opportunity would be on the 60 or the 240. RSI hasn't quite gone overbought, but this is a pound pair and you can take it from 70. Apologies, guys, if I'm really rallying through these trades and talking a little bit too quick, but there is really not a great deal here for me. You know, the way the price is moving on the pound, it's moving bullishly. Any questions on the pound New Zealand? I don't think there's going to be any trading opportunities for me today, but I will be keeping an eye on the pound yen and pound Aussie. You can see you're getting a retracement now here, guys, on the pound dollar. You could get a little retest up there. So we'll do a couple more currency pairs, guys. We'll do the New Zealand dollar and the dollar yen, and we'll pretty much call that a day. As I say, I don't really have a great deal on the radar. New Zealand dollar. This was our structure level. Because of this big wick down here, we do not have a confirmed break below, close below, and we won't until this structure level just here is violated. That means we've got to push all the way down to have a confirmed violation. If we look at the 240 though, we look at the 240. Okay, I spoke about this a week ago. We had the move lower, the pullback, the move lower, the pullback. This was the outside return. Said that you could be looking for shorting opportunities here because you've had a very big bearish candle. Lower low, lower close. I am actually still expecting price to come down to test the closes of these candles, even though we do not have the daily time frame confirmation. So I am expecting a move lower. This is not going to be valid for me. This is not directional enough for me, this pole. However, if it's valid for you, you do have a breakout pattern here. And that would fall in line with the 240, the fact that we're going to come down and retest this level down here. In actual fact, I would take targets just here actually at the 127 because we do have a psychological number, 6400. So that's where I would take targets. Just going to take a look at this on the 60. Well, you know what, guys, looking at this is going to be a better opportunity than I thought. The pole is not very good, but this type of movement is what we typically see within the channel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just here, guys, look at what we got. Look at what we got just here, a double top. I do say within these channels, rotation patterns, I hate to keep saying it, but it's true. With that double top, you had a break below, close below, you had a pullback for a 2618 trade, guys. That was your entry right there. There's the 61.8 fib. We tapped it and now we're going lower. On this trade, stops going ATR above the double top, which is 8 pips. That was your risk. And targets, guys, targets were the 127. So look at the nice reward to risk. This happens all the time with these breakout patterns, guys. This happened at 6 in the morning. I was still in bed at 6 in the morning, guys. So this would have been 16 pips for 40, maybe 40, yeah. So that would have offered you 2.5, 2 3/4 to 1 reward to risk, and looking like you're going to get the breakout there, guys. So you could wait for some kind of pullback and look at getting involved with that opportunity. Just for your info, guys, as well, the euro yen, if you're being aggressive, we've now come up for the 4th touch. You would need to see a structure hold and some kind of entry. So a red candle, 3-bar reversal, double top, whatever it may be. Here again, it's another channel, so you had a double top here and you had a double bottom there. So you know, clear sign here that this is a channel. So an opportunity there on the euro yen. So we'll wait and see what happens with the New Zealand. I'm going to make a note of that one as well. Happened when I was fast asleep, getting my very much needed beauty sleep. That is typical. It will go on to win because I missed it. Nothing we can do about that. Nothing we can do. We all need sleep. Going back up now, guys, for a retest up here, aren't we? Let's just drop to the 5. Just want to take another look at this. So on the 5 minute, only look for those rotation patterns within the wicks. There are the wicks. Drop down to the 5 range. Yep, you could get a little retest up there, guys. The last one I'm going to take a look at is the dollar yen. The dollar yen, guys, still have the workings out for the big triangle. Thanks to Tweet, who decided to give everybody an early Christmas present. I'm a little cynical this morning, guys, so apologies for that. So he said, I'm actually going to delay some of the tariffs, some of the 300 billion tariffs, because it's Christmas. Basically, that's what he said. And boom, we were stopped out for our trade that had confirmation we were going to go down and hit for 110. So let's go and take a look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, I do believe price is going to come down to retest the low of this wick here. You can see that we are making our way lower and we haven't as yet hit it. If we take a look at the 240, reading the trend, move lower, breakout pattern, move lower, a pullback. We actually held structure up here, so we have no confirmation that the market can go higher, particularly since we're in a bearish trend and we haven't come down to retest those structure lows either. But what we're seeing is just absolute junk. Look at this great big wick here. This wick ruins the analysis. This wick down here ruins analysis. It doesn't allow us to get involved with any trend trades. If we take a look at the 60, it's just junk, guys. Just look at it, just junk, nothing but consolidation. Look down here, 1, 2, 3 tests. You had a double bottom. Did it occur at structure? Put a structure level on and look left. No, it didn't appear at structure, guys. And you know, this is what we see with back and forth with news events. It's just junk. Go and take a look at the 15. Exactly the same, guys. Seeing a bullish move now, but there is just nothing here. This is not even a breakout pattern for me. Not even valid for me, but we're breaking out. Take a look at the 5 range. Euro yen, guys, just for your info. Breaking higher. May not get a structure hold there. We've got 3 minutes to wait. See if that price action pulls back. Okay, 5 range, you do have a advanced pattern here, guys. Looks like a back pattern. X to A to B, B to C, CD completion up at the 886. And if we break bearishly, you have a Gartley X to A to B, B to C, CD completion. So sign of consolidation is when we see lots and lots of potential advanced patterns. You could, on the pound yen, let me drop to the 5 minutes, see what it looks like. Could look for a rotation pattern. Yeah. I was going to say look for a rotation pattern in the wicks. The problem is the wicks are all the way up here, so I would just look up here at the X leg, see if it provides a double top, and you could use that as the entry, playing for targets based on a 382 fib. If you do get an entry up here, there'll be a lovely 40 pips up for grabs, so I will keep that as a potential as well on the dollar yen. Any questions on the dollar yen, guys? That was our last currency pair, I'm afraid. Our last one. Just bring back over the Aussie dollar CAD. You guys are getting the move lower now. Looks like I will be congratulating a couple of you who took that trade. Almost topped out another trade where structure, the first double top got violated, but you were still in this and your stop was not hit. So looking like that's going on to targets. Little update on the Aussie dollar, starting to come lower. Whether or not you're still in that or you exited for break even, I'm not too sure. And I think my Euro Aussie flag pattern, we have had the breakout of the channel now, which is good. What we have not had though is the breakout of the pole just here. So we still have a higher probability of coming lower than going higher because we've had the breakout of the channel. And we will wait and see if I can bank some pips on that thing. So I'm going to keep the dollar yen to one side. And if it's valid for you, well, you're getting a little retest here now. It is not a high probability trade in my opinion, but you do have the RSI confirmation. It's coming to the wicks. It would be just a very small day trade, and again I would only look for targets in this level. 22 pips up for grabs if it's something you want. Can't say is it's there to hunt our stops. Talking about the pound Aussie, I think. Apologies, I'm a little bit behind with the chat. So euro yen, we just had the 15-minute candle. You can see we've broken above that now, so it's not going to be a valid low and tight flag. Looks like it's going to be a double bottom, and we could see a move higher now. So it was not a valid double bottom because it did not come into structure. It did come into structure, sorry, barely, but there was no RSI confirmation. So what that actually means is if you still believe that this is going to break lower, and this thing very well could based off the dailies, you could see a move higher here, guys. So this may be an opportunity. Maybe. Let's go back out to the dailies and take a quick look at this. You can just see here though on the 240 we've put in a doji down at this level, just there, and you can see now we're moving bullishly. So if we do end up with this being a higher high, higher close, it will give us a nice indication that the market could be going higher. And just taking another look at the daily, and this potential breakout pattern, this would be a low and tight flag here, but again look at the big rejection candle you got here. At some point I would expect price to go lower. Doesn't look as though it's going to produce anything today. Yep, we will just have to wait and see what happens. So nothing for me really now on that currency pair. Okay guys, we're going to wrap this up. Keep an eye on the New Zealand dollar as mentioned. I missed my entry because it was at 6 in the morning. Keep an eye on the dollar yen, the advanced pattern that you've got there. And the pound New Zealand looks as though we're starting to violate the trend line, but it's not violated until the candle closes, guys. So enjoy your Friday. I will be in the chat, not all day because I really don't have a great deal going on here. Apart from that, guys, enjoy your Friday.